Jamahal Hill has had a very interesting UFC career, coming into the UFC undefeated and blitzing through the light heavyweight division with several very impressive KO victories. While he did lose to Paul Craig via submission, he did come back with 3 back-to-back finishes and eventually won the title off of Glover Teixeira. But since then, he has been plagued with injuries and has racked up 3 losses in a row. And while it's very easy to sit here and say, oh, the injuries have changed him, there's a few things that make me think otherwise. One is the fact that he came into the Alex Pereira fight in very good shape, right? Against Yuri Prochazka, he had success, in the second round, very good success attacking the body and mixing up his weapons. But what really kept getting him caught is his reliance on boxing without proper boxing fundamentals. And it's clear that Jamahal needs to change some things up. He stated that he's going to take some time off to help heal injuries and improve his skill set. And I have some ideas on how he could improve stylistically. Now, Jamahal needs to change his style, plain and simple. I do not think that boxing is his best weapon. Now, and he does have very fast hands. He's very long and he's very accurate. His boxing footwork and defense is subpar. We've seen it in his fights after their injuries, and we've seen it in his fights before their injuries because he's fighting high-level competition. It simply doesn't work. And while I wouldn't usually tell fighters to significantly change their style, I say this with Jamahal because I've seen something in Jamal's game that is better than his boxing, and that he has relied on in fights, and that is his Muay Thai, his clinching, and his kicking game, right? So Jamahal, while he does switch, is primarily a southpaw, and in several fights, he's shown a really, really great ability to attack with that left leg, hitting both kicks to the body, to the head, like against Glover Teixeira, stabbing with front kicks, even mixing in some leg kicks depending on the matchup. He's shown really good leg kicks. Against Glover Teixeira is probably the best example of this. You even look in moments against Khalil Rountree. While Khalil did beat him convincingly in that fight, Jamahal had the most success when he was kicking with Khalil. And the reliance on a more kick-heavy style forces Jamahal to have better footwork, right? You can always kind of punch off the back foot. You can always kind of throw your hands with your feet not really under you. But to throw a very powerful body kick, you need to get outside foot position. You can't be throwing it on the back foot. You have to have your feet, planted properly. And I think a heavier reliance on kicking will force Jamahal to fix the mistakes in his footwork. They'll also allow him to, attack his opponent's body more. We've seen he's got the good front kick and he's got the good body kick. Mixing up those attacks keeps opponents guessing more, and a more kick-based stance is obviously going to allow Jamahal to check kicks easier, as one of the big issues in his career has been his inability to check and take leg kicks because of his reliance on a boxing-style stance. We saw this really exploited most against Khalil Rountree. Now, this kind of kicking game, right, it forces him to fix mistakes in the footwork. It allows him to fight at a longer range as well. Jamahal is a very, very long, heavyweight. And obviously, while you can stick out a jab and throw the long right straight, Jamahal kind of falls over himself. But with kicks, you can really stay at the edge of that distance, controlling, the range of the fight a lot better. And for someone who doesn't necessarily have the best boxing defense, if he's able to control, the distancing on the outside with kicks, it means he's generally a lot safer. Now, what happens when they're getting close? Well, Jamahal has shown an extremely effective knee and clinch game. From the very beginning of his career, when he came into the UFC on the Contender Series, he won his Contender Series fight by absolutely obliterating his opponent with knees to the head and to the body. That long sort of stance, or that long sort of reach that Jamahal has, allows him to reach for collar ties and overhooks and underhooks from a very far distance, and allows him to generate a lot of power on those knees. And you've seen him beat people up with them really, really badly. You see against the guy in the Contender Series, you see in his second fight in the UFC, he worked them very effectively. In a lot of moments against Glover Teixeira and Yuri Prochazka, he had, a lot of success with the knees. And it's a good sort of thing to, with the kicks and the punches, and just in general in fighting, you either want to be all the way in or all the way out. Kicking serves as all the way out. Clinching for Jamahal serves as all the way in, right? So he can avoid that time in like mid-boxing range. It allows him to have weapons from different distances. And obviously attacking the body slows the opponents down, opens up things like head kicks. And, the more you break your opponent down to the body, the easier it is going to be to land punches to the head. So that's when he can sort of bring in his boxing a lot more. And just in general, he seems very, very comfortable in the clinch. And that's why I suggest this as well. Like I said before, it's very difficult to go to a fighter and say, change your style, right? Because they have certain habits, they have, new skills that they need to learn, right? It's just very difficult to change your game. But with Jamahal, these are weapons that he's, used in fights to great effect and relatively consistently. So I feel like it's really the solution that he needs in his career. It's going to improve his footwork, right? He has very, very good hips, right? You see in the Glover fight, he's very good at pulling his hips away, and that also makes me think that despite the knee and the Achilles injuries, he will still be able to kick very effectively. And I just think it's a very good avenue for Jamahal to pursue, because I can sit here and say, oh, he's getting out of shape, he's getting fat, oh, it's the injuries, oh, he just sucks. And in reality, Jamahal is a very, very talented fighter, and I have seen that. I was very impressed in the Glover fight. But it's become clear that his boxing is not, his best weapon at the highest level. Sure, against guys like Johnny Walker, Jimmy Crute, Thiago Santos, it works, right? He can get scrappy with them. But against guys like Yuri Prochazka, Khalil Rountree, Alex Pereira, where these guys are constantly improving, Jamahal needs to make adjustments. And I feel like there's a very, very clear avenue for it. And, Jamahal is a smart guy, right? He did pretty good in the Yuri Prochazka fight. And I feel like the injuries that he had in April before the Khalil Rountree fight did affect him in a sense. He didn't look that good. But I feel like this time off will be great for him to heal up his body and make the stylistic changes that he needs to. He's going to get a matchup a bit lower down in the rankings now, and I really feel like that'll be a good thing for him to get his confidence back and just test out, the new skills that he develops. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to sort of discuss something, more technical and help a fighter improve rather than just straight up criticize them, which Jamahal is very easy to criticize considering how much he talks on YouTube and Twitter. But I do really want to see him succeed, and I think this will be the avenue for it. So anyway, guys, if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Leave your thoughts down below in the comments. I'd love to have a discussion with everyone, and I'll see you later.